Welcome to Game Changer World. My name is John Wolf. Co-host Joe, how you doing tonight, sir?
I am doing good. It's good to be back. I had some family things that happened last week that prevented me from giving my full attention to wrestling, so we took a week off, but I'm good to be back now.
It's good to have you back, man. I get a little lonely on Tuesday nights without you. So and 7, 8, 900, 1,000 other people that kind of come through YouTube that week. Yeah. let's let me do this real quick. And I already have a question coming up from Reed Harris Cooper here. So give me a second. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, everyone. We read and appreciate all comments. Super chats are available if you want to donate. And a sincere thanks to our Dykehausen and SJ Good Vibes for donating on our last show. It does mean a lot to us. I do have some information here. Let me put that up. Now, up in that upper right-hand corner, it should be your right-hand corner, I have a QR code up here. If you want to donate without like YouTube kind of cutting into the amount of money, you can actually do it through there. We get 100% of the donation. And then same thing, just let us know through chat if you donated, or hit me up later at GC World Podcast on Twitter, so I can at least thank you personally. That would be really nice. But this is a great way for your money to get where you want it to be without anybody cutting, a percentage out like YouTube. So, thank you so much for all that. But okay, let me get this out of the way also. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us. Sit down and relax. You're amongst friends. We are going deep into the night. We do have a lot to cover. GCW was in Hartford on Saturday, Manchester, New Hampshire on Sunday, 18 matches, 4 title defenses, and in some shocking turn of events, only 3 of our matches this weekend were under 10 minutes long. So for number nerds like me, that's actually an amazing stat. So I want to kind of start off with this, Joe. I didn't want to hit it hard or long because, just because, but you were at Backyard Wrestling on, July 4th, July 5th, actually. How was that?
It was fucking wild. I've been to a lot of wrestling shows. It was one of the more wild experiences I've had in a long time. It was just a little bit of everything, right? Like some good wrestling, some absolute like, what the fuck? Why are they even in the ring wrestling, right? And then there was also some just like moments that like had the entire crowd just cracking up. For example, the Joey and NKA spot at the end where he was drowning him and then crying that he killed his best friend and stuff. Like, that was just such comedy gold. And then Brett got on the mic while they were building the cage and said some stuff, and that was great. And then the whole interaction at the end between Skittles and Jay was so good, and then Jay catching Brett off guard and asking for an ultraviolet title match and stuff. It was just a fun day overall, where nothing was taken too seriously, but it was still entertaining to watch, right?
Well, Reed Harris Cooper said, how wasted was Brett before the cage match?
So Reed had this like 360 cam, right? That was just he was recording the entire show, and he recorded the entire spot which was off air, right, while the cage was being built, and he recorded everything. And Reed was like, he got to me, he was like, I'm gonna put it on my YouTube. I was like, I don't know about that. There was some stuff that was said that maybe shouldn't be on the internet, and so I was like, maybe you should go ask Brett and all those guys that were just speaking, like, is it cool, right? Like, is it cool? He did that, and he edited out some of the spots that needed to be edited out. But it was a bunch of GCW hardcore fans, right? The ones that you see at almost every Northeast show. They travel all over for this company. So there was a lot of inside jokes that were being made that we all picked up on, right? So it wasn't something that needed to be on YouTube.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Let me get this in here right here. And I'm so sorry I haven't gotten it sooner. Skelter, thank you so much for donating. Again, if you want to, you can go through the QR code up there. But wow, again, it is greatly appreciated. Absolutely anything. We've said it before, times are hard. And for anyone to donate and give it all is huge. So thank you so much, sir. Or miss, or I don't know. Thank you, Skelter. Oh, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. This is one of those nights. I've only had 4 hours of sleep. You said you're kind of lacking rest a little too, right?
I am. So I actually, as of Monday, started a new job. So
Congrats.
it's been a whirlwind of yesterday went into work and lack of sleep last night because you're just trying to run through your brain everything you learned the day before. So
yeah, you're just trying to digest everything.
Exactly. So unfortunately, the digesting happened when I finally laid down last night, and it ended up waking me up every hour on the hour. So
did you hear about this? North Korean assassin got his Mac stolen?
I did see that, unfortunately, on Facebook afterwards, which was shitty but here's the thing, it's easily traceable, right? Because
cameras.
And also everyone that was there.
Well, right? That's what makes it scarier is we all know, which means somebody we know is a thief.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Just when you think that crew of, that whole group it's like LA. We know who comes to every show, So
yeah, I hope it's more of a case of misplaced rather than stolen.
Exactly. And because that costs money.
Yeah, and it's probably not easy to get, right? Because there isn't just a shop where you can go buy Kim Jong-un mask, right?
Yeah, those aren't just floating around usually.
Yeah. And someone asked about the heat. The heat really didn't bother me that much because I also work at the Eagle Stadium. And so I worked the day before July 4th FIFA in the direct sun, it was probably about 10 degrees hotter that day. So the heat really didn't bother me on the 5th.
Oh, nice. Well, you lucked out then. Your phone didn't handle it too well, though. You said it was kind of heating up on you.
Yeah, I got a couple of warnings of the heat warning, because I was stupid and got up and went to go watch a match and left it in my arm in my chair, and a couple times I came back and it was like the heat warning, get on your iPhone.
Yeah.
Too hot out, put your phone away.
Reed was saying this was actually way cooler than last year, but he used the pool. So that pool gets a little soupy as the show goes on. I'm almost afraid to touch it after the first 10 people go in.
It was funny you mentioned the pool because as I'm leaving, I'm telling Logan, and I believe it was Marcus's little brother, I'm like, they were playing in the water. I was like, hey guys, I was like, listen, totally your own prerogative, but I wouldn't leave my arm in there too long because it's green, right? And it's gonna turn your hands green, right? And they're like, no, it's not. I was like, try it. They put their hand in for a minute and pulled it out, and his hand was green. I was like, I told you so.
Yeah. Capadon, good to see you tonight. I'd rather go into the barbed wire board than that pool. Yeah, and he confirmed he did mean pool. Oh man, who caught on fire last year? I'm trying to remember who was that.
JJ.
Oh, Alan. That's that's right. He took the fire thing off.
Yeah.
And his hat caught fire. Oh, that was not fun. Funny now, but not fun at the time.
It's fun now that we know he's okay.
Exactly. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention before we go into our first show of the night, happy belated birthday to Sam Stackhouse, a huge friend of the show, one of our favorites. I love the guy, and I'm really happy that he made it another trip around the sun. So happy birthday from Game Changer World.
Yeah, no, happy birthday. And it was good seeing him at the backyard show because you don't typically see storylines ever play out there. So it was good to see their storyline continue and just continue to be shitty people overall and continue to heal.
WWE down here put that Sam is hitting the gym hard. Yeah, he's actually been all over the internet sharing with everybody. He's take no prisoners right now, and he is really hitting the gym hard. And without giving away too much, I think the last time I talked to him, he's already 35 pounds down in the last maybe month or 2 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I only found out because I swore I saw it during one of the matches. I just got a hold of him. I'm like, dude, you look good. Are you losing weight? He's like, yeah, man. So, happy birthday and losing some weight. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely.
Let's see. SJ, you're in here. We did thank everyone earlier for donating, so I wanted to let you know thank you also since you're here. And also I put a QR code up here, so if you wanted to donate without YouTube kind of taking a chunk of the money out, I kind of put something up there. So it's up to you which way you want to do it. I just know that less money gets taken out through the QR code. You ready to roll on show number 1 and get us kicking off?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, this was GCW's You Only Die Once from the Webster Theater in Hartford, Connecticut. This was GCW's 7th trip to the Webster Theater. A solid and energetic crowd opened the show. MLJ and John Mosley were on commentary. Production was solid, except I couldn't hear the wrestlers' entrance songs on TV. Otherwise, I believe the show went off without a hitch. Some great close-ups by the cameras caught plenty of emotion. Shout out to John Pine. Running time on this show was 3 hours, 37 minutes. That's around 40 minutes longer than the average GCW show. There was only one match under 10 minutes here. That was Charles Mason versus Jimmy Lloyd. And the average match time floated around 14 minutes. We got substance in this show, and I feel like Hartford got their money's worth. So I'm going to stop right there before we go any further. Any thoughts on the Webster? Any thoughts on this show before we go into match 1?
No, I definitely agree. You got their money's worth here. Quality show from top to bottom. No matches really felt like it drug on. No matches really felt like you were like, searching for a bathroom break, as they say. In the world of wrestling, this is a good match to go to the bathroom at. They all had substance, and I felt like it was a good job of kind of switching up the order a little bit, and one match was a little more technical, and then the next match was a little more hard hitting, which was really good to see.
So something happened this week that I've never had happen before covering GCW. I asked listeners, what was your favorite match of the weekend? And I legit got 7 or 8 different answers. Generally, there's a clear 1 or 2 matches, maybe even a third match kind of floating in there. There were 7 matches in the first 7 responses.
Really?
And yeah, so I think I'm just going to consider that a quality weekend instead of just picking one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just seemed like fans found something in each match that was worth a shit. And they just had to pick the best of the cream of the crop. And I'm really happy we had that. No real duds this weekend that I can think of. Every now and then there's some duds in the group. It happens. I felt like both of these shows were solid end to end, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. They were very good. I think this one was the better of the two, but I think they were both good shows.
For sure. Our first match was an 8-man tag team match. It was the June Men versus 4 Kings. June Men were Junie Underwood, Ryan O'Neal, Jeffrey John, and Christian Robinson versus the 4 Kings. And that comprised of Seabass Finn, Don Freeze, Kylan King, Jermaine Marbury, and Benny the Basketball. I didn't expect Benny the Basketball at our wrestling show. So I don't know who was in there. I don't know who had the idea. Is this something that like Marbury carries with him?
Yes, this is an ongoing gimmick for him. So it was funny to see it carry over into GCW.
No need for teams. I felt like it was just a salad of people, and I'm not gonna lie, I honestly forgot who was on which team, and I fucking forgot who was legal. I mean, really, there was a point where commentary's like, who's legal? And I'm like, oh man, I'm normally good with that stuff. I couldn't keep up.
I almost felt like when you had this many guys, it should have had like the lucha rules like the night after. It would have made it a little bit easier to understand what was going on.
Yeah, Reed said Jermaine travels the road with Benny. Huh. And they're pretty sure it is one specific person. Interesting. So I'm guessing, yeah, it has to be someone local to the area that, is doing the local or regional work that Jermaine's doing.
Yeah.
Another great point here. Babushka has been seeing more popularity, especially with the Babushka chants. He's got the thing with the second Babushka, first one comes off. He's got the little thing that goes like this to help people say Babushka. Bro, it's all working right now. I knew he was going to do something. I don't think I saw this coming. He needed to kind of lean into more of a fun character, and I felt like that's what unlocked him.
Well, we've been talking about it for a while. We've been saying that he seems to be getting a bigger and bigger role within GCW. He's kind of, and especially two of these guys, Junie and Jeffrey, are both kind of following that same path where it's like the evolution of GCW, right? You start off in the scrambles, and then you slowly work your way up. And we're seeing Junie now try to kind of get out of that and get into the single matches. And it's good to see. It's cool to see the evolution when you put in the work with GCW. You're muted.
That's good because I was getting ahead in my notes here. So I would actually like to see Christian Robinson maybe get some more complete looking gear. When I saw him on the first show, I actually thought that maybe he lost his original gear. But either way, I wrote here, he has a bright future ahead. He's already looking comfortable in the ring, especially with, very few years under his belt. He shows signs of youth and an inexperience in the slightest spots that only the trained eye can see, but I already know those get ironed out with reps in the ring. It was good seeing Don Freeze back. I have concern for the amount of slack and inseam he has in his shorts. That extra material can sometimes catch on something or someone at the wrong time. I told you the notes were going to be a little more exact tonight, Joe. This is this is what I was talking about. Junie's becoming more of a regular face at GCW. Him and Ryan have something special growing between them in the tag team department. That's what I was talking about when I was muted, Joe, and I just didn't want to get ahead. Kylan had a few moments in the ring. I see him getting older and bulking up more. Could be a good pick for a future star. Marbury's basketball-centered offense was enjoyable. Benny the basketball didn't get as involved as I wanted, honestly. Seabass Finn sunk into the background more than I'd wished. Fans went nuts for the huge amount of topes that everyone delivered. This was a very busy 10 minutes and a great start to a huge show. Our winners here, June Men. The team of Junie Underwood, Ryan O'Neal, Jeffrey John, and Christian Robinson. That was my mouthful for this match. How did you feel about it, Joe?
First, this is like the GCW's kind of intro to the Benny the basketball and stuff like that. So I love that they get to see that because it's such a fun, different character, right? Like it's just not something we've seen too frequently, and it's fun every now and then to not always take everything so seriously, right? Like it's okay to have moments that make us smile and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. But I agree with you 100% that it feels like if they wanted to, Junie and Ryan could be a really good tag team in this division. I mean, even on the backyard show, they kind of build off each other perfectly, and this match showed it. But I would be excited to see them in the tag division more and more, getting them out of the scrambles, getting them out of the 8-man tags, and let them get more just traditional tag matches.
Let me get this out of the way here soon. SJ, good vibes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I've got great news for you. It took us a minute to get the bracelet situation figured out. Joe, did you ever get those?
I forgot to message you back. We did get them. My kids are actually wearing them, and they love them. So
sweet. So I do want to let you know, and several other people that have donated. There's a couple people on the list that are in here. I have what colors you wanted, and I have your addresses. Reed, if you could get a hold of me, maybe give me your address, and I'll send you some pictures, and you can pick a color. I want to get one out to you also, sir. Yeah, if you get a chance. Yeah, if you haven't already and you've donated to this show, definitely get a hold of me. I want to get something out to you as a thank you. So Sorry, Joe. I'm in 100 different directions tonight. I kid you not. Here's how my night went. No kidding. Brett got a hold of me at like midnight, 12:30, and we ended up recording the official podcast on Patreon.
Your time or Eastern time?
Oh no, I finished up at 3:30 a.m. my time. And and I'm gonna look right now just to see what time I actually released that show. That bad boy went out 15 hours ago, 12, 13, yeah, 3:30 or so in the morning. I actually got that thing edited and kicked out, and I got to sleep once all was said and done at 6:30. Woke up at 10, did my thing. So that's the day, man. So everybody, thank you for being patient. Also, I don't know many other people that roll this stuff live like this and just lets it go. So thank you everybody for being patient with us about that. At the end of the match, the camera stuck with everyone leaving, and we got to hear the crowd cheer for their favorites. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love that. You know, the fans are talking to the fans at home, kind of. We want to know who you accepted because you got to see them live. And again, that carries over to the next show. And I've seen that happen here a couple times now, and I really do think it serves to the benefit, especially of the faces.
Yeah, and I think you talked about a little bit before in terms of like the crowd in the arena and the noise you're hearing coming through your screen definitely dictates the fan at home of who they're going to cheer for. So it was definitely good to hear that just because of that fact. You know, it lets the fans know who to cheer for pretty much. You know, I'm not saying like the fans got to be told who to cheer for, but it kind of helps them a little bit.
Yeah, and I like to, it helps me to know who's accepted. You know, there's one experience over the TV. It's a completely different experience live.
Yep.
So, I mean, and what sometimes looks great on TV doesn't look like that live, and vice versa. There might be some things that look so on TV, but live, you're like, damn, look at that handwork or look at that dive. You know, you see the intricacies live that we don't always pick up on TV. So yeah, I trust fellow, you know, fans to be like, man, speak up, tell us, how do you feel? Was that guy awesome? Or, you know, if the crowd's dead, that speaks too.
If there's a match that's like badass live, I usually won't go back and watch a replay of it, just because I think the experience is completely different, and sometimes it taints what I just viewed live in my opinion of the match.
Now, here's something that I think maybe it's happened to all of us as super fans. Big Capadon said, many wrestlers have not been over with me until I saw them live. Then I can remember them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%.
Also, I'm being very rude. I wanted to let everyone know there are quite a few new names in here tonight, and I want to thank all of you and welcome all of you for coming in here. We're a big family. A lot of the names you see here, you will see next week, next month, next year. Feel free to make some friends in here. As you can see, unlike a lot of other places, everybody in chat here is cool. They're well informed. They know their stuff. And when Joe and I don't know our stuff, they step right in to help us out. So, I mean, if you're wanting to make a couple friends, this is the place. If you're wanting to just kill some time, this is the place. And if you have some knowledge, kick in on it every now and then. We definitely could use your help.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Okay, so after the match here, Price cuts a promo, and him and Oliver have a conversation about the Cogars, always running in a group, never alone. Oliver and Mathers have Price's back. Alec especially is having fun, and it shows. You could see in the promo he's loosening up, and usually that means the wrestler's comfortable enough to express himself fully. This is when usually the person's personality and their character unlock behind the scenes and in front of the camera. So personally, I know this is a career milestone, and I love seeing wrestlers hit this. And I know that's a deep fandom cut, but it's really the truth. When you see a wrestler kind of pop out and really, you know, they're unlocking. They're going to become more of something. A great example, Slade. We're going to get into this later, but you know what's working for Slade is the fact that a little bit of that personality is coming through now. And We needed that from him. And I'll tell you, I was going to say this later in the show, but Joe, if you and I were talking that Slade was going to be on the microphone, just tearing it up, having a good time a year ago, you'd have been like, hell no, not Slade. He's quiet.
I think that was it the 4th of July show where he fought CPA?
You're making me think, man.
I thought it was. I'll look it up real fast, but I think.
Thank you. Chat may also know.
I think that really helped. I mean, I know it was very recent, but I think that really helped the character start to come out.
I just know that with Slade, like we were slowly seeing peaks of him.
It was Slade versus CPA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I feel like really the first unlock of Slade was that Bear Bronson match that he had where they tore it up. And I feel like after that, he's been building upon that in a very healthy way. And we're seeing, yeah, I mean, GCW fans love personality. Here comes his personality and everybody loves him.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's one that even before that match was names being called and I know he wasn't taking as much booking, and it's good to see him in the regular rotation now.
Oh, let me put this up real quick. Joe, you're a dad too. It was me and my daughter for the first time at GCW. We normally go to EWA Limitless.
Yeah, it's nothing better than being able to experience a wrestling show with your kids and they also enjoy it. You know, like you're not dragging them there. You're not forcing them to be there. They're genuinely happy to be there. That's one of the better experiences you get to do. And
my kid started young and now he's grown up, but man, is it awesome when your kid attaches to someone and it really makes their night.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Definitely agree. And it's fun to see. And especially at this level, right, where they get that chance to talk to that wrestler after the show and stuff, right? Like that's even cooler to see.
That's the benefit of indie wrestling. You know, your favorite wrestlers are within arm's length without charging $200 to, you know, to breathe with them.
Yeah.
In the same room.
Yep, I agree. 200's being generous, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm on old numbers. I'm on pre-COVID numbers.
Yeah.
All right, on to our second match, Dustin Waller versus Marcus Mathers. This is just like the first match. It was only 11 and a half minutes, but it felt like it was much fuller. Yeah. Like this was a very full cheeseburger here. What also I wanted to put in perspective, this was a Jersey Championship wrestling match 1 to 2 years ago, but both have leveled up in such a short amount of time. You know, Marcus is only 6 years in, 7 years for Dustin. They both have bright futures ahead. I'm waiting for Dustin to pop off. Marcus is, you know, he's on the cusp. Let me move on here. Waller cut a promo pre-match that worked up the crowd. Everyone knew clearly he was the dick. Waller has all the building blocks for success. 7 more matches and Dustin will have wrestled 200 matches at Beyond Wrestling. Want to give him some credit for that. Marcus is still very much a natural face. He sold everything from the move to the pain that he endured very well. He's also a guaranteed solid spot on any card, especially at GCW. And if Marcus is in the match, I can expect quality and exciting wrestling with whomever he wrestles with or against. This was a very good wrestling match, selling a very even bout between both men, and I can't wait to see what they both give us 10 years from now. Fans were very satisfied with this one, especially that last few minutes where they really kicked into an extra gear that I don't think many of us really expected. Our winner in this one, Marcus Mathers. Joe, how did you feel about this one, man?
I absolutely love this match. I think what you said about the time versus the feel was spot on. They filled every second of that 11 minutes and 27 seconds. No spots felt wasted here. The storytelling in the ring was excellent. And like you said, these two guys have bright futures. It's good to see Dustin. You know, he was a great tag team wrestler, but it's good to see him really fully embrace that heel and stand on his own. And props to him, because it's sometimes hard to shed that tag team, right, and be on your own, but he's been able to do it excellent. But you can just see, right, Marcus is destined, whether it's AEW, WWE, he's destined to be on a weekly television show. He just has that TV wrestling, the way he sells and stuff like that. He is the complete package when it comes to wrestling. Oh, you're muted.
Here we go again. He gives me a 90s wrestler vibe, especially with the pants and everything. And I grew up with the look that Waller has, so for me, I look at it that way. Reed, thank you, sir. I feel that the more tired I am, the more that mute button comes on accident. So I'll probably leave it unmuted from here forward so we don't have that problem anymore. There was a promo catching everyone up on the issues between Napier and Anakin Murphy. And I felt this promo was a couple matches too early because the Anakin Napier match wasn't for another 3 matches. Just wanted to put that out there.
But I felt like you could have said it for either way, right? A couple matches too early on the card, but also a couple matches too early in the feud, right? Like this feud, I think, is going to be huge, but it's only been 3 weeks now at this point, right? From when he attacked him and came back till now. I think I would like to have seen this simmer a little more before we actually got this match.
Dude, I'm with you. I think that's a great idea. Think about that. Let's roll into our third match. Leedz Lewis versus Jordan Oliver. Something I wanted to mention, we're in our third match of the show and we've already seen 12 wrestlers so far. And of those 12 wrestlers, only one was over the age of 30, and that was Jeffrey John. Now, I'm not complaining watching 2 electric wrestling matches back to back whatsoever, but I felt that's what we got here. Leedz has a natural pace that most guys don't have at this point in their career. Because of his in-ring patience, he appears like he's been around longer. And that's one of those hidden in plain sight things that fans pick up on, but they don't consciously pick up on it. Jordan has always been fun to watch. Since he's moved up the mountain, I feel his contact with his opponents have been more solid, believable, and connecting much better. If Jordan delivers a drop kick now, his opponent's going to feel it. That's wrestling. Leedz and Oliver have big futures ahead, and I consider us lucky that we can get this matchup in, just like the matchup we had previously here with Waller and Marcus Mathers. Leedz and Oliver have those future. Let's see. Our winner here was Jordan Oliver, 16 minutes and 58 seconds. I want to see what you have to say, Joe.
I think it was just 2 weeks ago where we said we wanted to see Jordan Oliver and Alec Price back in single matches, right? We felt like we lost 2 big single stars when they combined, and that's not to say we don't enjoy their tag teams, but we'd much rather see Jordan and Alec in single matches because they are such exceptional talents. Case in point right here, right? Like, like this is the match that Jordan can put out week in, week out. He had a great partner in this match with Lewis, so it helped, but he can put this match on with a trash bag, right? Like he's that good of a wrestler where he can have a good match with anyone. So it was very refreshing to see Jordan back in singles. I hope this is a recurring theme now. I don't mind the tag teams, but let's not forget who these 2 were before that tag team was formed.
Bro, I considered the singles match for Alec and Jordan like bonus. Like, holy shit, we get to see him really, it's nice to just see Alec work all the way full without, stepping out 50% of it. And
because these were 2 of the best wrestlers on the independent scene when they teamed up, right? So we lost that for a while.
No, you're right. There's a question here about Richard Holliday. We're going to get to that one just a little further in the show when we get to that match. The way we handle everything is in chronological order. So we're going to go through Saturday's show, the first match to last, and then we're going to go through Sunday's show, first match to last. So once we get to that Holiday section in there, which is a little further in the show, we're definitely going to go over that because I think we both have a lot to say about Holliday stepping away from a GCW ring at minimum.
Commentary handled that entire match perfectly.
Dude, bingo. I really wish I would have put that in my notes, man. You're right. They kind of put that like on a silver platter and just
They said, is he elite? You know, is he an impact player?
yeah.
Did he evolve enough?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Is he a major league wrestler?
Yeah.
Iceman says, I agree. Oliver and Price are great individually. However, AEW didn't sign them to be singles wrestlers. They're going to be one of the greatest tag teams. Yeah, you're damn right they are. I agree with you 100%. I really do. And that's why I look at a singles match as a treat anymore. Hopefully they stay together for a long time.
Well, and I agree with that comment because AEW, the landscape, there's such big sharks, right? Like Omega, MJF, stuff, people like that, right? So it might not be needed, but when they're in GCW, you know, the few times they are now, because bookings may be harder and stuff. I mean, we have seen them more recently, which is good. I would much rather maybe one card, if we're doing a 2-card weekend, one card they be tag team, one card they're singles.
You're saying switch it up a little bit, let them do their thing. You know?
I just don't want to lose them in single competition.
My concern is workload. If you put them both in one match, there's a lesser chance of injury. So, but again,
unless
you're right.
And attack you.
I wrote here, looking back from this point in the card, we started with solid youthful wrestling, and they knocked that out of the park. The Mathers Waller and the Leedz Oliver matches gave us an almost combined 30 minutes of wrestling. Just those two matches. Moving on, Mason and Parrow casually meet backstage for the first time in a while. Mason gives Parrow a chain. I think he wanted Parrow to soften up Bear before their July 27th meeting. So I want to ask you, Joe, are you interested in seeing Parrow maybe work with Charles Mason again?
I really enjoy Parrow, so if it means we get him more, sure. But I think Mason being the loner that he's been recently, I actually enjoy that also. So it's kind of like, you know, double-edged sword here, where it's like if I want to see him more, he might have to be back with Mason. But if we could get more Parrow without Mason, that's fine. I'd rather that.
I'm going to dig into a 3 versus 3 later in the show, because I think between maybe a team of Mason, Slade, and Parrow teaming up again, they might be somebody that would run into Vandal 48 quite nicely. And you have the leaders of both squads being cerebral type wrestlers. There could be some back and forth between the singles and then the rest of the families on Vandal 48 and the gang on Mason's side get involved.
Yeah.
So I see the possibility of a really entertaining 3 versus 3. And, you know, Mason's promos, and then you put it up there against Atticus's promos. We could have a really colorful, story.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I didn't even think of that, honestly, but that is interesting to think about.
So that'll roll us into our 4th match of the evening, Parrow versus Bear Bronson. 14 minutes, 48 seconds, just shy of that 15-minute mark. I wrote here, good seeing Parrow back. He walks out with the chain that Mason handed him. Bear gets a great response. As always, Charles Mason rips away Emil from the microphone and joins Brett on commentary. We'll talk about that just a little more soon here. This was a very beefy match. Probably my favorite on the show this night. The impacts are louder and harder when the big guys are involved. Something satisfying about a loud bang from a wrestling ring live when 500 plus pounds hit it. Parrow used the gifted chain early, and it opened up Bear's head. Blood was flowing. Their fight included breaking 2 very rare for GCW guardrails, and it was all over the place. But they really lit up when the tubes came out, and that's when the fans went crazy. Bear swung hard on Parrow, and those light tubes turned to instant powder on Parrow's back. Parrow had a very well-defined red stripe of emerging blood on his back. He was pouring immediately. It looked good. Minutes later, blood covered his back completely. This is awesome chants rang out for the crowd. That was the first time of the night, and I really do think they deserved it. Our winner here was Bear Bronson. Let's stop right there. How did you feel about Parrow versus Bear Bronson?
It exceeded my expectations.
Right?
I mean, I know they're both big guys. I just wasn't expecting such a hard-hitting match, and it was so good. And you mentioned that back shot. I mean, it wasn't anything like out of the ordinary, and I don't see a back react like that a lot. And so it was so cool to see when he stood up and you could just see the blood instantly start to form. The visual of that was something that I think will trend for a while because it was just different the way it happened. I enjoyed it. You mentioned the guardrail spots. That was really cool to see next to the exit right there and stuff. Overall, just a hard-hitting match. The car crashes that we like to see, right, John, that we talk about a lot. That was this match. Instead of a car crash, though, it was 2 Mack trucks.
Man, Iceman said Bear's a top 5 on the indie scene. Anytime he's in the ring, it's a must see. You know, Iceman, just for fun, put your top 5 out there. I'd put Bear in my top 3 easily, and I would be hard up to find 2 others off the top of my head that I really feel is a complete package. So I would really be very interested. Charles Mason's up there too. I'll give it just a little bit because there's not a damn thing that I can see he's weak in. He's great in the ring. He's great outside the ring, great on commentary. We gave him probably, no, I apologize. He gave us probably one of the most entertaining in-character interviews we've ever had back on the old Game Changer Weekly site. So, the internet was just lit up with how awesome he was on commentary, you know, and then Slade later that weekend, people loved it.
Yeah, no, he, especially the next night on commentary, his some of his comments were like, "What the hell?" And I'll talk about it more when we get to that match.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll get, when he asked about, do you know what bestiality is? I'm like, what?
That wasn't even the spot I was talking about. I'm talking about. We'll get into it.
We'll get there. Yeah,
we get to that match.
Well, when Parrow lost, Charles Mason hit the roof, angry as hell, threatened Brett's 3-year-old. It was a great segment. After the match, Parrow posted online, "This weekend, Bear Bronson woke the old me the fuck up. I've been here for 10 years and the hunger and creativity in the locker room right now at GCW is so motivating. Long live GCW." Now, I want to kind of kick in with something personal here, Joe. I've heard quietly from several wrestlers a solid match with Bear does something to them and for them. And also, I'm hearing the locker room vibe right now is just on fire. I think that the feeling is that, you know, the water level in the pool is now raised and everybody has to step up a little bit. And from what I'm hearing from others, man, this says something. There's vision now. And I think people that have been there for a long time are now seeing, you know, like Oliver after what, 6, 7, 8 years at GCW, finally moving up the schedule, the scale. And, you know, there's going to be more coming eventually. Yeah. People on Twitter were telling Slade, him and Mason need a podcast. You know what? I could see that. I could actually see that. Mason alone, just you give him, you can have him stare at a wall and for somehow he'll entertain you about that wall for an hour. And so
for some reason, listen, and the ladies love them. They love to take the choking photos with them and stuff. So
I wrote here, if Bear and Parrow teamed up, they could be called Barrow. Kind of like that idea. Brent mentions that the Webster Theater used to be a porn theater. That is true. From the mid 70s to the early 80s, that's exactly what it was. I don't know how many people knew that, but
couldn't they also just be called Bears?
Oh yeah, the Bears. The Bad News Bears. Oh, there we go. Anything else on this match that really struck you?
I just think everything they struck each other with, right? Like it was just such an old school, just hard hitting, like beat the piss out of each other match that we really enjoy.
Okay, here. So we'll move on. Christian Napier's promo on Anakin Murphy was good. He said Anakin didn't belong in the TOS, and he used it as a social media boost. Nino was a mark sitting in the crowd the night after TOS. I actually sensed a touch of Atticus style truth in the statements that Christian was making, like a little burn here and there. I don't know if you picked it up, but it almost felt like the type of a promo maybe Atticus would give. You know, you sneak those truths in there, and you
Well, I mean,
I liked it.
In wrestling, sometimes the best promos are the ones that are a little truth, right? You look back at CM Punk and his pipe bomb and stuff. The fans love when the lines are blurred and you can't tell what's real and what's fake. So,
well, you can't say they're bullshitting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow. So that will actually lead us into our next match. This was a death match. Anakin Murphy versus Christian Napier, 13 minutes and 40 seconds. I wrote here that I like Napier being called the Midwest Menace. Something about it is so fitting because we'll stop right there. That motherfucker's a menace. Fans sung Anakin's song without the music playing. That felt special. This was very much a weapons-centered match, including glass panes, chairs, barbed wire, doors. Then Otis Cogar interfered and broke up what I feel was a very good match. Anakin fought both men, but couldn't get the win. Now, I'm going to give my personal opinion here. Anakin and Napier were on their way to having what could have been considered one of their personal best matches to date if the interference didn't take the attention away from them. So our winner here was Christian Napier. And if you want to, you can tell me otherwise, but I felt like they did not, the run in is part of, but they were doing so well back and forth that I don't think like the interference actually dropped the match value a little because these guys were kind of on a roll and didn't need the interference. It was just a quality match, man.
Yeah, I think we say that a lot though for a Vandal 48 match, that the run-ins aren't needed. No, I enjoyed this match, and I do agree with your comment about some of their best. I think GCW is high on Anakin, and they're looking to invest in him, which is why that run-in probably happened. It's just getting redundant at this point, and I get it, they're the heel group and stuff, but it's like you just almost expect it, right? I feel like it's sometimes, at least for me, it's almost hard for me to fully invest into a match just because into their match, because you're just waiting for the shoe to drop and like, well, it's going to be a run-in, so like, why am I getting hyped up for it, right? Like that's how I feel a little bit now.
Now, this was said real quick. Do you feel that they're getting back into 440 habits? Screwball, go ahead and type some more on that one. I am curious about what you're thinking there.
For sure. I mean, you always got to use number game, and that's always what they're doing. But
yes,
I just don't think it needs to be every match. Is what we're saying, right? Like we get it. The heels need to use number games to their advantage. It's just now it's like every single match, and that to me is a little annoying.
So Reed gave us something a little different here. He said Napier didn't help. He didn't need help. He wanted it. Anakin was put in a corner and doesn't look like he lost. Interesting. Now, Screwball kind of expanded on the 440 habits. He said 440 was defined by how much RSP relied on his minions for interference.
Yeah. But see, right now, and I guess the only difference that I can draw from that is right now you have both of them as the two top champs. So it feels like they're working together rather than Otis as a minion.
Yeah, especially with that UV championship.
Yeah.
That kind of does save that. I do see what Screwball's saying though, because it made us all real quiet for a second thinking about that one,
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see some of those 440H guys back in there.
That's what Crow was saying here with the Bev.
Yeah.
Getting some of them back here. Capadon said, same gimmick, just 4 digits off. Listen to you. Listen to these guys in here. They're feeling it tonight. All right. So actually, let me put this up there. Reed said, I see what Vandal's doing is different. RSP relied on the group. Vandal 48 are just being menaces for no reason. And I feel like I see what you're saying. The Vandal 48 group, the members feel more equal.
Yeah.
Than 440, where it was,
Yeah. That's pretty much what I was saying.
On to our 6th match of the evening. This was a JCW championship match for Jersey. Our champion, Charles Mason, went up against Jimmy Lloyd. Now, I said that only one match on the card here was under 10 minutes. Somehow, this was it. 4.5 minutes long. It was all we had here. Jimmy always gets a solid reception with the Jimmy F and Lloyd chants. This was his 380th match at GCW. He has the most matches in GCW history by any wrestler whatsoever. Number 2, Joey Janela at 326 matches. Number 3, Jordan Oliver at 295. And Effie is 4th at 261. That's everybody over 250 matches at GCW. And we didn't have a chance to mention it on the show because we weren't here for the 4th and the 5th review. However, the match at the Bash at the Ballpark, where we had fireworks going off, that was Nick Gage's 150th match at GCW. So I wanted to let everyone know that there was a little bit of poetry there. Now, Charles Mason comes out to the ring, sits on a chair, lights a cigar. That's old school aura. But he should have that. He's currently holding 4 championships, most noteworthy the HOG Heavyweight Championship, 402 days, and the PWJ Championship, 534 days. Again, like I said, at 4.5 minutes, this was an exceptionally short match, but they told a tight story that didn't need any fluff. Mason's chair was used until it was unable to be used, and then he took the lit cigar and burned Jimmy. Mason grabbed a non-combat chair, and I realized that phrase is now staying in the GCW lexicon. Jimmy put up a solid fight where Mason didn't look as dominant as he maybe should have looked. Mason choked Jimmy with a wire until he tapped, and our winner happened just like that. Still the JCW World Champion, Charles Mason. Thoughts on this one, Joe?
The length maybe threw me off a little. Like you had mentioned, if Mason wasn't gonna squash Jimmy, maybe give him a little bit longer, right? Because the length, if you're having a back and forth match to this extent and then it only goes sub 5 minutes, it's a little head scratching, right?
Yep.
If you're going to do this short, just have Mason go over and keep him looking strong to build him up to that bear match.
Screwball said, it's nice to have a squash on the indies. Everyone wants to go 10 minutes and it stands out, and Mason looks dominant as a champ. So there we go. Screwball saying, look, you took care of him in less than 5 minutes. How was that not a dominant win? And I stand corrected. There was a lot of back and forth. However, finished a dude off in less than 5 minutes. So
yeah.
What were you thinking? Because I saw you kind of thinking differently.
But to me, a squash is not 5 minutes, right? That's a little long for a squash, right? To me, squash is more bing bang, 2 minutes, and we're squashing this dude's not getting any offense at all.
I gotcha. No, and this is weird because everybody's opinion is right at some point or another.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, there's definitely different
I
definitions of a squash, but if we're going to do a squash, let's do the squash, and don't give him any offense, right? Let's squash him.
Okay, so Mason sat down on commentary again, and like I said before, everyone online was loving it. I've said this also before. We need more of the GCW wrestlers on commentary. This did wonders for Mason's character. Imagine what it would do for others. Also,
Slade.
What's that?
Imagine Slade on commentary.
Dude, he killed it. Did you hear him?
Yeah, but I'm saying let's see him more,
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah.
I would love him on commentary and not saying anything, but random one-liners here and there. Just out of nowhere, the craziest shit in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That would be such on par for his character.
And the whole time, all you're doing is building the character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so while two wrestlers are getting over in the ring, commentary could be putting over a wrestler over this. So you're
Yeah, you get 3 over in the time you would only get 2 over, right? So it's a win-win.
And just like Nick Gage, FE, several wrestlers, they're awesome on the microphone.
Oh, Gage at the backyard show was such.
I've loved Gage on commentary for any backyard show or death match. I've always said this. He says what we're thinking.
Yeah.
So like on commentary, he'll be sitting there, and if we see something happen, we're like, oh fuck, that looks like that hurt. Gage is just gonna say, well, fuck, that looks like that hurt. And I'm like, he's saying what I'm thinking. That's my dude. Yeah, Mason got kicked out. He's yelling at Max Recon about being in the Vietnam War. Mason's gold. It takes a personality and intelligence to make such an entertaining chunk of moments up, and I think Mason did that well. So kudos to him.
Yeah, no, Mason both nights killed it.
On to our 7th match. We have Joey Janela versus Gabby Forza. 18 minutes, 42 seconds. Joey gets his solid reception upon entrance, but wow, is Gabby getting her reception from the fans. Now, if you don't count Jumpin' Joey's backyard match against NKA, Joey's lost 15 matches straight. His last win was against Ken Dixon on May 5th of this year at Express Lane from Joppa, Maryland. Joey also has the second most matches at GCW, as I was saying, at 326. Now, Gabby always comes across best in the ring as a comeback kid. Fans like rallying behind her, especially kids and women. She has a slow comeback formula that sucks people in, and her strength late in wrestling bouts is impressive and an ode to her hard work. Another woman who does this is Megan Bayne, always having something extra in the tank late in the match. That's when whatever they are doing becomes impressive. When everyone in the crowd is like, man, they must be gassed. Megan Bayne, Gabby Forza always has something. Now, Gabby also sells struggle and pain very well. That comes across great with the fans. So I would have to say, looking at it from a further perspective, I feel like Gabby's figured out her formula. Now, Joey finally put on the gnome hat and he got major boos from it. It doesn't matter because our winner here was Gabby Forza. And my last note was the fact that fans were pounding the ring after this match. So I want to say GCW is officially gnome country. And I'm also seeing how fans have fallen in love with her and Bear's love story.
Well, it's not hard to, right? They're two of the best people in wrestling, even before the bell rings, right? Just overall human beings. They're just good people, right? And so you like to root for those people who are just good people, right? So it's so good to see her more and more in GCW, and this was a big win for her. I know it's keeping the Joey Janela storyline alive of what's going on with him, but it's still a big win for her in GCW against a name like that. And so it's really good to see her finally get these flowers on this platform like she deserves.
Yeah, Clown said he would retire at the anniversary show if he hasn't won a match by the end of that show. So we got a storyline here getting weaved.
Even though he has a match booked at Homecoming.
I really hope they didn't give away anything right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oversights. Indie oversights. We'll see how that. Yeah, we might be laughing about that after it happens. We'll see. After this, Atticus had come out. I wrote here that he had a great promo. And as an 80s kid, I love the Nightmare on Elm Street music in the background.
And even the gear.
Yeah, even the gear. So yeah, we'll talk about that right now. Our 8th match of the evening. The GCW World Champion Atticus Cogar defended his title against Alec Price. 25 minutes, 18 seconds long. Alec was out first. Great energy overall. He appears ready to fight, pacing the entire time. That energy stayed with him the entire match. It's rare seeing Alec in singles action, so this felt like a treat. Atticus comes out decked in a red and green striped sweater reminiscent of Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. As an 80s kid, like I said, I'm a sucker for that. Fundamentally, a very sound match. The skewers came out late. Vandal, of course, gets involved. There are boos moving forward throughout the match. Interestingly enough, I felt like the fans were kind of saying here, it kind of spoiled the match a little. However, there's a story to be told, and this is part of it. Jordan Oliver and Anakin Murphy come out to defend Alec Price. This makes both matches that Vandal 48 interfered on the show. It was cool seeing Alec walk the ledges of the building within the crowd. That's so Alec. KJ Orso's music plays, and that takes Atticus's attention off the match. Skewers go in Alex's head, and he's covered for 3. So our winner and still GCW World Champion, Atticus Cogar, after again a 25-minute marathon. Despite the loss, I feel like this was still the solid championship match that I wanted to see out of Alec. So I don't feel like there was a real loser in this one. Yeah, I've just been waiting to see Alec in singles for a while, and I felt like we got it here in like 2 handfuls.
Yeah, so real quick, the comment that we had earlier about Alec was signed to AEW to be a tag team wrestler, right? I agree with that. But we need to put this match in front of Tony Khan's eyes so he can see what Alec is capable of in the singles aspect also, because this is one of the best wrestlers in the world, regardless of styles, regardless of tag teams or one-on-one. I think it's a huge disservice to him if we're pigeonholing him into strictly tag team wrestler within AEW. But back to this match, it didn't feel 25 minutes, right? Like, it felt long, but the match flowed so well. We got the interference again. I don't know about this one, John. Just because, like, Alec loses to the champion after it being like his first singles match in a while, I don't think it hurts him if he lost clean here. So I didn't know if we needed that interference here. You're muted again.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm sorry to the listeners. Again, there's no wrong opinion. So I'm just going to give mine as is. I think that both singles matches were so quality that they did not need the interference. If there needed to be interference, I would have called an option and I would have said, look, these guys are on fire right now. Let's interfere after the match. Like let's go whoop the shit of them after the match. Again, that's personal opinion. And honestly, they're the artists. I'm just the watcher. So
do you think
they may
it
very well
match up a little bit. Do you think it takes away from the quality of the 25 minutes to have that at the end?
Yeah, because I could hear boos riding throughout until the end of the match. Now, it was either this one or the match that I said before that had Vandal in it, but one of them, boos rang out all the way to the end of that match. And basically that's the fan saying, you know, you spoiled something really good here.
Yeah.
But again, that's a personal opinion, and there may be more to this, and they're building upon it. But personal opinion, the majority of the fans don't necessarily like the run-ins or just don't like them as much. And again, they maybe just don't like them during the match. I think hardcore wrestling fans care about the competitiveness also of their matches, whereas casual wrestling fans may not. They're more interested in the story, but you know, down at this level, we really do care about, you know, getting a good dinner out of what's in front of us. And if someone comes over and kicks 2 of the plates off the table,
I agree 100%. I think quality wrestling outweighs storyline at this stage of the business.
Now, Mal, who it's good to hear from you. Question I have. Who beats Atticus Cogar for the GCW World Championship? Because he's kind of running through everyone, and that's been put in front of him. So let's have some fun. We talk about this a lot, but I want to ask you some more questions, Joe. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you're running GCW for the next year. Who is your ultra violent champion? And I'll give mine if you want to, but I want you to answer first so I don't,
I'm putting on Vipress.
Vipress?
Yeah, I think the story that they've been building up with her and Otis, I think I think that needs to be seen through and let her win.
I would put it on redacted at this time. Honestly, if he had it on him right now, between having the American Deathmatch champion and the UV, this would be considered the summer of redacted. Like, it'd be cool as shit just to say it,
Yeah.
Who would be your tag team?
I'm gonna say that next week they win it, KJ and Sam.
You know what? I think that's a good one because I think they're a total tag team. And a lot of the tag teams on the indie scene we've seen.
Yeah.
If not at GCW, at other companies. So they're giving us something fresh and complete. I'd love to see what they do with the run before I discount ever giving them, ever taking away a run. So, yeah, I mean, KJ on the microphone, Sam is the enforcer. That's a hard team to beat.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So Capadon said Slade would be a good next UV champ. And given what he's been doing in the last couple weeks, I think there could be a UV run in the future there.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Cole said, hell yeah, Joe. I've fantasy booked Vipress as Ultraviolent champion before. There you go. All right. So let's move into our main event.
Wait, we didn't do the GCW champion.
Oh, I didn't?
No.
Oh.
Who would you book as your champion?
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, man. My champion would be Bear. My UV would be redacted. My tag for now would be Orso Stackhouse. I would fight for a Lucha championship. And I would have, because he hasn't carried one, I would have Gringo on that championship. And he'd be holding that for a while until we have maybe someone come across the border for a while. I would have loved to see Microman maybe carry a title at one point. That Lucha would have been great for him. I also at one point wanted to see Microman take the world championship. I think that dude, think about it. So first of all, Microman's match quality came down to the what's the word for it? The creativity of his opponent. And that it wasn't Microman flipping and going crazy. It was the creativity of the opponent, what they were doing in the ring. So imagine we have a champion where most of what he's doing is actually coming from the other side. Also, Capadon said it right here. Microman was super over. Now, UV championship, Bill Bruno. Good to see you tonight, Bill. Brandon Kirk. Yep. And then this one's coming too, Crow. Little sicko. It's only a matter of when. There's a lot of these newer deathmatch talents that as long as they keep their mouths shut or as long as they stay on the straight and narrow and just do their job, they're going to be awesome. Crow, we all want to see Microman carry a title. That's what I'm saying. And those fuckers are heavy. Those fuckers are heavy. I think it would be great for Microman for 20, 30 matches. Just come out, hold up the belt, the whole thing. And honestly, what's more GCW than having Microman hold a belt, Who else is going to do it, man?
That's insane.
Hey, and let's be honest, outside of being looked or laughed at, some people in wrestling never get their due respect. Putting a championship on him and having a unique run that no other GCW champion could have is a selling point to me. Who else is going to give us who else is going to give it that type of a championship run with those types of matches? Yeah. That's what GCW is known for, is uniqueness, different. And we would be celebrating someone that probably had a rough life. And, this is where they shine.
No, I definitely see it.
I talked you into it. I'm sorry.
The appeal's there. Definitely the appeal's there from a money and merchandise and just a buzz standpoint, right?
He's great with families. He's great with kids. This would have brought in more ticket sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have been trending on national news sites and stuff. So
No. Here's the genius. Whoever beats him for that championship is going to be a fucking heel. I mean, they're going to be imagine if Cardona came out and smashed Micro Man and took that championship years ago. That's a whole other level of heat. And again, I'm not comparing any, but I do think that, if someone come in and just kick the ever loving shit out of Micro Man, that would have been our new major heel. And we could have built off of that heel for a long time. And if you want to make it fun, have Micro Man win that fucker back. The place would go nuts. I see it. I don't know if others see it, but you know what I mean? I love car crashes, and I think there's some hidden genius behind what Micro Man does and what his opponents do together.
Listen, I'll leave that to you to talk to in the
yeah. Appreciate it, brother. Let's go into our main event here. This was a death match, Vipress versus Slade. Now, I have a lot of notes here, and this is only a 10.5-minute match, but Vipress is a fan favorite right now, but so is Slade for his own unique reasons. Slade's been showing a lot of personality recently, which has been fun and has added to that popularity. As we predicted, he was mocking Vipress's entrance throughout the match. Again, I love that. We had doors, light tube bundles. Slade was cut early in the match from catching a Vipress dive. Fans were split between both wrestlers, and you could hear it in their chants. Slade started flipping out, throwing himself into doors, putting Vipress through doors. Things got wild. Pieces of light tube were flying so hard it was landing in the commentary booth. Slade making a glass angel was something that, again, personality. He goes under the ring and pokes his head through a hole in the GCW apron. That ended up being that screenshot that I took that has him peeking through and smiling. It was fun seeing him working the fans for each individual cinder block that he threw in the ring. I don't know if you remember that part, but they were like going, whoa, and he'd throw another one in. That is not the Slade from a year ago. Again, that's unlocking the character. Vipress pulled a Bret Hart and put a piece of cinder block in her shirt. Slade went for the spear and knocked himself silly when he hit the block. Vipress spiked Slade on the cinder blocks and covered him for 3. Our winner in this match, Vipress. I wrote here this was a short but satisfying match. It wasn't the violence or the solid wrestling here. I actually think that Slade's personality is what made this match better because he gave us something different. And what do you think on this one?
I think it was more of a fun match than it was like a hardcore death match, which I'm okay with.
Yes.
Right. It gave you a little bit of everything, which I don't need 30 tubes and they're both bleaking from head to toe. This match gave me just enough violence, but also kept me entertained, which is what I love. Vipress is so over, but so is Slade getting more and more over, and it's interesting to see where these two trajectories are headed within the GCW banner.
Kite High said a GCW internet title needs to happen so we can have an internet championship. Do you think Joey would probably be the guy to have the internet title just because all the shit talking he does online?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like who else would take that? So outside of the Lucha title, I thought it would be great to have a women's title. Brett is very much against that, and I understand that. But I love to celebrate those who come into wrestling who weren't able to do so decades ago. So, I've changed my mind about intergender wrestling over time, and I thought it was fair that I had to. I was a little more of a stickler on it because I was old school, but part of what made me a stickler on that was because some wrestling matches sometimes aren't very believable. But no, you know what I mean? But like I said, I've watched people like Vipress, people like Alec that have come in and kind of blurred those lines. And that's the kind of intergender wrestling I'm actually looking forward to, are the ones that make me forget, hey, he's beating up on a female. No, she's whooping the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And I like that. So, anything else on this match off the top of your head?
No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the spots that had the silliness in it, but overall, it was a good match.
Well, then I'll go into our last little moment here. Napier comes from behind and attacks Vipress. He's now mocking Vipress' dance. Actually, all weekend, people were like fucking around with the dance. Some were doing it for fun. Some were, I think it was Gabby was doing like a chicken version at one point. Atticus and Otis come to the ring carrying a bundle of tubes. They tape up Vipress just like Vandal did with Matt Tremont. Also, this was the same building. Bear, Gabby, and Anakin come in to make the save. Vandals run off after a tense face-off. Bear and Gabby have been the center of several saving run-ins, and so has Anakin recently. Now, I wonder if this amounts to something down the road. Side note, this fixes one of my issues with these beatdowns. You and I have spoken about this before. The faces used to never have friends to run in and help them, but the heels always did. I felt like when it comes to run-ins where the faces have friends, the benefit is the fact that you could allow the most popular wrestlers that are not booked in the main event to basically come out and close the show. Send everyone home happy. Like I said, like if everybody's a fan of Manders, at the end of the night, have him and some of our other more popular faces come in and make the save. At the end of the night, they're the ones that grab the microphone, close the show, maybe put over some of the younger cats on the way out. And yeah, so I don't know. This was a good show. And like I said, I warned you ahead of time. I had a lot of notes on the first one. And our first half of the show always goes fast or slower anyway, because we have so much to say. So
definitely sounds good.
So I wanted to ask you, it's up to you. We are an hour and 20 minutes in. Do you want to take a 3-minute break? Do you want to keep rolling through Melee in Manchester?
Let's take a break so I can go grab a drink real fast.
That sounds good. All right, everybody. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break. We'll see you here shortly. Thank y'all. Well, welcome back to the second half of Game Changer World. We just finished up with our first show, and we're about to go into Melee in Manchester. And stick with me here. This is hard to say. From the Bishop Leo E. O'Neill Center in Manchester, New Hampshire. That was a tricky one to say. Now, Joe, this was GCW's debut in New Hampshire. The building had a great amount of people, which makes everything obviously more fun. MLJ and John Mosley were primarily on commentary, but quite a few others came on during the night. We're going to talk about that when we get to that. The only other thing that was weird, the lights were out for half the venue. And I'm sure they probably did that on purpose, but I felt like that created a weird look on TV because it looked like one half of the ring was dark.
Yeah.
Now,
I definitely picked up on that.
And it probably doesn't matter to maybe others, but it just bugged me for a minute. I'm like, damn, turn the lights on, man. But, maybe like everything, there's a reason, and maybe we just don't know the reason. Let's roll into our first match here. Wow. A 12-man tag team match. We had Team GCW versus Team New England. First team here, Team GCW. It was a team of Don Freeze, Jeffrey John, Jimmy Lloyd, Junie Underwood, Ryan O'Neal, and Sal Mastretta. Now, Team New England, 23 Hazard, Dustin Waller, Kylon King, Love Doug, Seabass Finn, and TJ Crawford. All right, so this was a 10-minute match. There were 12 people, so don't ask for big notes here. Sal was going after my heart. I'm originally a Browns fan, and he was wearing a Jim Brown jersey. Now, speaking of shirts, Jeffrey John's shirt was a Rebel shirt for ALS. Thought that was really thoughtful. Flying Ryan's jumping off the rim of a basketball hoop was probably one of the biggest highlights of this match. And I complained about not seeing enough Seabass Finn on the first match opener, that earlier show. I feel like I could actually say I saw him more in this match. Dustin Waller was an incredible tope over the corner ring post. Kylon King hitting a superplex on Jeffrey John onto the floor. I didn't see enough Junie. I didn't see enough 23 Hazard or TJ Crawford. I also wrote here that Love Doug had his moments, and that's where I feel he shines in a match like this, or just little spots. But otherwise, our winners here were Team GCW, and I felt this match was the second of two quality openers this weekend.
Yeah, it was cool to see Miracle Generation also kind of put in there, so that was good to see. Love to see more of them. TJ Crawford, right? I would love to see him more in GCW. I think he's such a talented wrestler, and big Beyond guy. They do it Wrestling Open down there I believe they do it every Monday and Thursday at this point. So kind of gotten a little familiar with these guys, with the Love Dougs and the Crawfords and stuff like that. So it was good to see them get their shot here in GCW, being local. Let's see more of these guys. Definitely see more of these guys. So overall, excellent match. Great, like you said. This wasn't a typical scramble that we're used to, but it was in the sense of scramble, right? So overall, excellent match and way to kick off the show.
Oh yeah, and I always had concern about any wrestling company having two shows a week. They've been handling it, so
yeah,
hats off to them.
They've been killing it, and the wrestlers have been bringing it. Right there hasn't been a lag from one show to the next.
No, and sometimes you can worry about stuff like that, and they're firing on all cylinders right now. I wanted to just mention real quick, Emma welcomed Rich Palladino to the ring, and he was our announcer for the next match, and I'll roll into that. So our next match was a tag team match. We had the Neighborhood. That's the team of Armani Chaos and Manny Aries versus Vandal 48, and this time it was Christian Napier and Otis Cogar. Now, I wrote here that Aries has a good size. He's missing his original tag team partner, Kid V. So luckily, Armani was able to step in and fill that spot. Now, Chaos has a good look. I love the purple gear. Big smiles from both faces. Each have their own individual aura, and it works for them. Now, Vandal 48. They came from behind the curtain and they scared the ever loving shit out of a little girl that was sitting near the entrance. If you have a chance, it is so hilarious. She was just not ready, but that's a unique reaction. They were scary to her. Now, I don't like the interference that Vandal does, but damn, I do love their look. And again, the kid reminded me, hey, these guys are scary. This was a good wrestling match. Vandal eventually added weapons, doors, and chairs to the mix. Aries ate an Otis spine buster through the door and took a Napier coast to coast to the face. Both men finished off Armani and covered for 3. So our winners here were Vandal, and I want to know how you feel about this one, man. 9 minutes long.
Yeah, I was really shocked with how tall Aries actually was, especially when the match started and he was standing on the outside and he was because he was on the far ring, so he was closer to the camera, so he looked even bigger. But I'm like, is this dude standing outside? Like, he looks so friggin' big that close to the camera. I liked the Napier Otis pairing, right? Like, we don't typically see it. Napier is usually just kind of like the redhead stepchild off to the corner when Atticus and Otis are teaming. So it was cool to see that pairing. They worked well together. It was a very funny moment with that little girl, so that was comical to see. And
you have a girl, so you know how a little girl could be. Like,
I'm surprised it didn't trend more on social than it did. I don't know if it's just not out there yet or not, but overall, this exceeded my expectations a little bit. I thought it was going to be more of a squash match to make Vandal look strong, and it wasn't that, right? But the neighborhood got some good offense in, so that was refreshing to see. Top to bottom, I could see, and I don't want to. I'll let you say your next notes because I don't want to steal your point, and then I'll piggyback off of you.
Sure. My next note says, I doubt it's happening during an Otis UV championship reign, but I still see the Vandals being true challengers for those GCW tag team champions belts. And I'm going to throw it back to you.
So Atticus Otis, I didn't get behind as much because it was just hard to see all the gold being on 2 guys. However, Christian Otis, I think, is a little more viable. I think you could go coast by on some cities that maybe don't allow deathmatch. Otis doesn't defend the title that week, right? Otis doesn't defend the UV title at that show, and he defends the tag belts. I think it's more of a possibility with them too.
Well, I'm behind it because they certainly seem like they're a credible threat, and they're able to make all the dates. We've seen that so far also. So, I mean, we have somebody here that's capable of not only having the championships, but defending them on probably every show.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely agree. And even if you got one more member, I would love to see Vandal 48 have like a Freebird scenario where they all kind of they already break the rules as it is. Why not say any 4 of us can defend it at any time?
Now, we talked about Vandal's readiness, but Screwball is saying, hey, I don't think Vandal has tag titles in their immediate future. And I agree with you. They don't have it in the immediate future. I just feel they're a credible threat. It's got to go to Stackhouse and KJ. It has to. And Ishmael's right there saying the same thing.
Now, here's the thing. The only thing I can say, this is the only possible outcome I can see where they don't win these belts. We've been saying over and over again that there hasn't been viable threats for Atticus as of recently.
Yeah.
What if for some odd reason Vandal 48 interfered in that match? Because we just seen them fight singles this past weekend. Right? If I'm not mistaken, I just want to go back. Right? Alec and Atticus, right? And that match cut short. What if they feel like there's unfinished business and they interfere in that match, and then we then get into a KJ feels Slade and he then challenges for Atticus's belt?
It's possible.
We've been feeling like that was a possibility for a while the last couple of months, and I think that would be a great feud. Now, I know people are going to be like, well, they're both heels. I don't think that matters in the indies, if I'm being honest.
sometimes heel versus heel can be fun because it does put over another one, you know, and another one does kind of lose a little bit. But when you have a story like that, both of them are allowed to flex their attitude.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like that idea.
Yeah.
And also that'll create a separation between this personality and that personality just a little more when you let them flex like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, this totally shot out left field, but I think that's the only two possibilities: is someone costs KJ and Stackhouse the belt, or KJ and Stackhouse is winning the belts. I don't think Jordan and Alec are winning clean.
We'll see what'll happen. On the official Patreon podcast, I went to bat for that GCW tag team tournament. And once I sold Brett on the idea of having a tag team leave quickly and drop the belt without losing it in the ring and starting a tournament, he's like, damn, that is a good idea. In case that ever happens. Plus, I told him if the tag team ever comes back, they can't say they lost it, and you can shoot them right to the championship, right to the championship bout again.
Yep. No, that's definitely true.
Also, I was telling him, man, you know, we have so many great tag teams right now. Joe, you were saying that too, that it's almost hard to not consider having some kind of a showcase.
Entry number 1, Wolf and Wood.
Oh, is that where we're going?
Yeah.
Wolf and Wood. We got to come up with a name. That's oh man, we got to do that. We got to come up with a name.
Our names are Big Bearded Men.
Big Bearded Men. Yes. Oh shit. All right, here. We'll go into this next spot. We have a Slade video. He's in a kid's playhouse playing with a truck. He gets mad, stares out into the distance, and then he decides to leave. That was the entire video. It's not just the videos, it's the vision behind it. At some point they said, look, we're going to have him walking from way off in the distance to the show. And it works. It works. I can't remember the last person who did that, honestly.
Yeah. No, it was such a weird promo, right? It was just I just don't know the purpose, right? Like there wasn't really, right? And that's why it was such like a good promo, right? It just like had you going like, what the fuck was that, right? Like
yeah.
That's all I can say about it. It's like it had me going like, what the fuck was that? Like what did we just like what were they trying to get what point were they trying to get across there? And when it comes to Slade, I guess the point is there is no point, right? It's Slade. That's take it or leave it. It's Slade.
How about Amy Rose and Slade? How do you feel about that, Joe?
I feel like we said a name before for Slade, and I forget.
So Amy Rose and Slade could be a Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth if it's sold properly.
Yeah, but I feel like last show you said a name for Slade, and it was such a good tag team. I can't remember, but you said someone. Did we say Gage and Slade?
Oh, Gage and Slade would be killer.
Yes, because I think they were attacked the last time we had a show. They were a tag team versus.
That's right.
Yeah. So and they worked well together.
What do you think about it though? Because they're kind of putting Amy in there somewhere. What do you think? Where's that going? Is that a love interest? Is that his cousin and she ain't claiming him? Like
the Slade character right now is so all over. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know where they're headed with it. I definitely think Brett's realized like there's more to Slade than just like keeping him quiet, right? Like this guy has a personality, and it's refreshing to see that they're doing it. Now, what if they did both of what you said, John? Because Slade is a wonky character, right? And what if it came out that they did have a love interest, and then like down the line it came out they were cousins and they're kissing cousins or something crazy like that? Like I could definitely see that being a Slade storyline that continue going on.
Whatever it is, I'm in for it right now. I'm happy that what he's doing still comes off cool instead of coming off corny or trying too hard. Yeah. So Reed says Amy Rose thinks she can fix him. Oh, that is totally a relationship thing right there. Yeah, I see
What if
that
it's
one.
like the team remember Team Hell No back Kane,
Mm-hmm.
and they had them going to like therapy and stuff like that? Like what if we see vignettes of that now?
I'm waiting for Slade to pull out like a little tiny hammer and you see her just be like, oh my gosh. And it's like a ring, but all it is just a new hammer for the ring bell. Just little things like that
Yeah.
could be fun.
Just to
Yeah,
kind
Kane
of
and Brian Danielson.
break the character up a little bit, and like keep them fresh.
So that's the thing. Amy could be an interest and also could possibly pull out his humanity. Someone threatens her down the road. That could be a huge pop. And I'm right there with Screwball. That's exactly, I think, what could happen if they want to, is she's like the Achilles heel. You can't get to him unless you fuck with her. And then all of a sudden, now you've got his attention.
Which is like Team Hell No, right? With what's her name?
Yeah, there's stories here, man.
Yeah.
There's stories here. Charnese, good old Mal says, I definitely see what Amy sees in Slade, but I'm also biased because I also think Gabe Kidd is attractive as hell. And I also believe I could fix him. So I get well, good luck on that. If you get a crack at that, we hope you all the best.
Sounds like you just like to try to fix bad boys.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is right there. Reed says, I'd like to see Amy in more stuff. Having her just as the ring bell girl has been weird. She's a manager and she's led a few ROH champions, and that's the truth. The other thing I wanted to tell everybody that I saw in this weekend especially is that she just sits there and enjoys the show. I see her sometimes cheering. I see her sometimes like getting involved emotionally with everything, and that's a fan, and I like that shit. I love it. Charles Mason goes after Amy, and Slade is conflicted. Also something that could happen. Now, here's another one. Amy could be interested in Slade. Slade gets interested in Amy, and then we find out that Mason paid Amy to be interested in Slade. Bro, there's all kinds of stories here if we have enough time to really, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like that movie. What's his name? The 7 Things I Hate About You or something.
So there we go. All right, let's move on to our third match. Megan Bayne versus Marcus Mathers. A fucking banger. 16 minutes, 53 seconds. Bayne in red and black gear looked badass. I love the bat wings on the back. She is one great example that ring attire matters. She's one half of the AEW Women's Tag Team Champions with Lena Cross as Divine Dominion. Wow. Marcus wearing a mask to the ring has been an improvement to his entrance, by my opinion. I especially like the gold and white one. He's a WWE prospect, and here we are in a GCW ring where both wrestlers can coexist in the same atmosphere. God bless GCW for that. Now, another side note on Marcus, he is another wrestler who went to Japan for a couple months, and I feel professionally he came back better. They had a very good back and forth. Marcus took a serious beating for the first half of the match. Brett said Megan is facing a serious fine for using non-combat chairs. Fans were solidly behind Bayne. Even Amy Rose was joining in the fandom. I enjoy watching others enjoy the product. And it's funny, our notes say right here, you can see she's a legit GCW fan. One of us. Megan May and Marcus eat F5s, a spear, and a tombstone pile driver. Marcus rallied multiple times, but just couldn't overcome Megan's offense. She hit a final running sit-out powerbomb and covers for 3. Our winner here, Megan Bayne, and I would say a solid wrestling match between the both of them. Joe, I set it up. You knock it down. How you feeling about this one, buddy?
Yeah, Megan's been booked as like unbeatable in GCW, so it meant a lot, I think, for Marcus overall to be able to mount this much offense and have a back and forth match like he did. I think this was a good measuring stick for Marcus because where Megan is in the industry right now, to see that he was able to stay in there and go blow for blow and step for step with her. It was an excellent match. And I just love the way GCW does intergender, right? Like they never like the guy beats up the girl and the girl ekes out a win. Like they both look equal parts in the match, which is so refreshing to see. But like you said, hell of a match. third match in, like it just kind of told you what the night was overall. And this could have been a match that went 25 minutes, and I would have enjoyed every second of it.
They made it all so fun to watch, and like I said, man, WWE versus AEW in our ring.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
So right. How much coordination does that take?
But Brett said, I think 2 weeks ago, when people were like, when that whole news about the My AEW came out, and they were like, well, what does this do for their WWE ties? And Brett was like, it's almost like someone can't have a good relationship with both of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's another one, because again, I'm a Cornette person. Jim was talking about how the older wrestlers will talk about the younger wrestlers and tell them this doesn't look good or that doesn't look good. And this is a good one for you, Joe. Can you name a sport where somebody who is a Hall of Famer says, listen, that younger guy, his mechanics aren't good, or, he just can't hit like he should. Do you know any fans that would actually tear into the Hall of Famer? This doesn't, only in wrestling, dude, because if a Hall of Famer says, hey, this guy just isn't all that great, the fans wouldn't tear into Darryl Strawberry. They wouldn't tear into, some of these guys.
But I think it's because...
Is it the tone?
I don't even know if it's the tone, but I think because of the heights that wrestling is going to now, right? Like it's at heights that maybe have never been before in terms of visibility across the entire globe, how these wrestlers are now traveling across the globe and stuff. I think sometimes it comes off less like they're trying to help the younger generation and more like they're bitter. Which is, I think, what the reasoning is. Because I feel like a lot of like the other, for example, baseball, right? Like, I feel like if someone comes out and talks crap about a younger guy, it's not they're talking crap. It's that like they genuinely care and like they want to see these guys succeed. Whereas I feel like in wrestling, it's more of a bitterness because they're taking it to heights that maybe weren't seen when they were there.
Very interesting. Never thought about it that way. I got another way if you want to hear it.
Let's hear it.
Those old guys are trying to preserve a generation of wrestling that was successful enough that everybody in it made a good income. That's the part that, you know what I mean? However, everything evolves and everything can't stay the same, because if it did, it would get stale.
That's I think we're kind of saying the same thing though, John. I think
we are. I'm just putting a different point on it.
Differently, but I think we're both saying like the wrestlers are like trying to draw eyes off of these people or talk down on these people because the business has evolved past them and they can't understand that, or they can't accept that, which then is like them being bitter about it.
Oh, Jordan's in here. He says, always appreciate the time and effort you guys put into the show, fellas. Amazing atmosphere in the building on Sunday. That's because you were in there, Jordan. We have to talk when we get a chance. Like I said, it's, I wish I could like publicly show my interview list right now. It is wild. Jordan, I'll tell everybody right here. Jordan is somebody I do want to get on and talk for a little bit. I have mad respect for the dude. I've told him flat out, I think it was to his face, maybe not, that he's on the cusp of going big. And if not now, it'll just be in another year or 2 or 3. He's reached that point where I feel that he's an undeniable worker as a commentator, I guess I would say. And if I would pick, 10 people from his generation, how in the hell would he not be one of the top 3? So, I'm a big fan of what Jordan does. I love hearing him on the microphone at GCW. I wish we could hear him a fuck ton more at GCW, but I understand how things work, So, one of my favorites.
No, I definitely agree, and I appreciate him stopping by, and hopefully we can get him on the show in the future. But Reed made a good point about he was joking, but it was a good point. He said, these kids taking my gerbs, right? Like the South
Yes.
Park thing. I think that's also the difference, right? Like MLB, right? An older guy, like you said, Darryl Strawberry, right? He talks shit about Juan Soto, right?
Yeah.
And he's doing right now for the Mets. We know Strawberry isn't saying it because he wants to pitch right now, right? Or he wants to play outfield right now. That's the difference in wrestling, right? These old guys can still come back for a match or two, right? For example, if Bully Ray is shitting on someone currently in GCW, in the back of our mind, we're thinking, is it because he wants to get in there and he feel like that spot's taken from him?
Yeah.
That, I think, is the difference also.
You're right. I think that I can see that motivation with quite a few guys, just you can hear it in what they say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, what's the name becoming like that a lot, which he wasn't, which is a little pissing me off now because he was one of my favorites growing up. Hardcore Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last couple of months, he's been coming off very bitter.
That's sad. That's sad. When stuff like that happens online, I've always looked at opinions online and looked at them as reflections of a person's personality and also their level of happiness.
Yeah.
Because you can see, you know, and some people may not like something, and that's fair. But you can always feel if there's some weird amount of energy or anger behind it. You're like, this person's not fully mad at this situation. This person may be having a bad day and they're pissed off at this situation. And, you know, it's just a bad mix.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, Kane, good to see you tonight. We were talking about this earlier. Both Joe and I were talking about the possibility that maybe Orso and Stackhouse are the people to take it right now. I put the possibility of Vandal 48 being a front runner, one of the front runners, but Joe made a point about Stackhouse and KJ that kind of won me over on that side. So, yeah, that's where we're both at right now, roughly, without going too deep into it. Yeah. So let's run into our next match, match number 4. This was a GCW Tag Team Championships. We had the champions Bustah and the Brain versus Starstruck. That was the team of Anthony Green and Channing Thomas. Also, as manager, they had Sydney Bacabella with them here. Now, I want to say welcome back. What's that?
Uncle Rico.
I love it. I think so. If I stuck with being a manager, now that my hair is in the situation it is, I think doing something like an old school wig spot would be so fucking awesome. Like kids and families fall for that shit. They love it. You know, someone gets their wig pulled off their head and somebody throws it, you know. So back to this here. This was exactly 16 minutes long. It's hard to get that, you know, right on the dot like that. It was almost like when Speedball Mike Bailey was doing that thing where he was timing everyone's 3 count if they could get to like a 2.99. Did you see that?
I haven't seen him do it, but I've seen other.
Okay, yeah, you kind of get the gist.
Like that, though. Yeah.
So welcome back, Starstruck. Last seen in their GCW debut in Maine, November 8th of last year. Sydney threatens Adam Galt with never working in New Hampshire again if he doesn't follow the state rules and regulations. Funny, Sydney said nothing about himself. He broke a lot of rules in this match. We'll get to that. He also gave Starstruck a fantastic intro. I love what Sydney does. Sydney's son, Joey, was also working in that match. It's nice seeing a second generation in pro wrestling. That generally means Sydney found happiness, and he's hoping that his son finds that same happiness. I love those things. I would have loved to have actually seen a spot where maybe something happens to Sydney and it knocks him back in time. And Joe just comes out and he's like, I'm Sydney now. Like, what the hell? And, you know, and then later they hit Joey and then out comes Sydney again. Like, it's like getting kicked by a horse in your teeth. You like your eyes go cross-eyed and then you get kicked again and they go straight. Like, you know, oh, that's not his actual son. What? Oh, come the fuck on. Really? I'll tell you what, if that's not his son, I want a copy of the DNA report. Man, man, oh man. Well, I'll tell you what, he got that on pretty, they played that up pretty good because I was sold. No lie. Bustah and the Brain come out to huge ovations. They've earned every fan honestly. They've been hitting on all cylinders. Both have great looking gear. I liked the Bustah and Brain's red and blue look. I think it looked great on him. But I also love the green, gold, and purple on black that was coming from Starstruck. even though it doesn't look like it, this is still a young guys match. None of these wrestlers are over 28 except for Anthony Green at 32. Alec pulled off Sydney's hair, one of my favorite spots within this match, but it was very fun overall. Bacabella broke a lot of rules during the match, and I gave Adam Galt credit for not throwing him out. Our winner and still GCW Tag Team Champions, Bustah and the Brain. I do want to add, this was Bustah and the Brain's 18th championship defense since winning those belts back on October 12th at GCW's Fight Club. So if they didn't lose that championship during that JCW story a long time ago, to the Brothers of Funstruction, we would have had a year plus now on Bustah and the Brain holding those championships.
Yeah, I think we went over it on one of the shows, their defenses and stuff, and they're the longest at this point. But this match was fun, and people don't realize like what Anthony Green has done in the business. We're talking about a guy who's been on 205 Live, he's been on NXT, he's been in AEW. Like, this guy's been everywhere, and it's good to see him back in GCW. I love that team, that Northeast team, you know, at bringing it into GCW. And Sydney just made the match overall. Like you said, that wig spot and stuff. It was fun, but the match was still good, right? Like, it shows you can have a comedy spot, but still have a good match within that comedy spot, right? So overall, it was good to see it. It's like cue Boys to Men End of the Road, because that's what we're coming to. Bustah and the Brain here with that titles, but it was a fun one last run for them before they lose that titles.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because after this match was over, Bustah and the Brain cut promos on KJ and Stackhouse to hype up that match in Dallas, and I think it was the right thing to do. I want to also mention that a year ago, we would not have thought about how much Alec and Jordan have done promos on microphones before and after matches. And I felt like their personalities are so damn good that it gets the promo over.
Yeah,
we like them, you know?
And I think like the last 4 shows they've gotten on the mic consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't around for this, but for about a year and a half, both B and I were saying, listen, these guys need matching gear. They got them eventually. These guys need to get on the mic. They got on eventually. And my argument for getting on the mic at the independent level is you don't want to be practicing in front of millions on national TV. Do it now.
Yeah.
And
I
so
agree.
I push this at the indie level constantly with all talents, is that you need to be cutting, like, you need to fuck up now. Don't be fucking up on national TV. Like, don't do it when there are hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. Do it when there's a couple hundred on the line. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And when you have a big job like that, probably one of the biggest of your career, you don't want to be out there nervous. You want to be confident. And the only way you can be confident is through practice.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
Moving on to our next match, number 5, Mullet Man versus CPA. This is a fun match between two loved personalities, personally for me. Happy seeing both. Mullet Man was working security at the Saturday show. For anybody who can see like the yellow shirt or just the mullet itself, the minute you see the guy, you can pick him out in the crowd. Brett let every match breathe this weekend, and I love that this one had more wrestling than I expected for such a lighthearted match. It was almost given 8 minutes at 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Again, I like what Mullet Man does. I get what he does. I know he's self-aware of what he does. And when you hire him to do a job, I'm pretty sure he gives you exactly what you're hiring him for. And I feel that that's a true veteran. So I want to say the same thing about CPA though, too. CPA does the same damn thing. You pay him, you know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to give it to you in handfuls, you know, does the job like a pro.
Yeah.
I just want to say too, since we've seen Gooch, good to see you, man. Welcome. Sorry, Joe. I just wanted to say hello to her.
No, I'll keep this one short. Listen, you kind of knew what you were expecting with this match, and it definitely exceeded expectations. But both of these guys know who they are and they know what the gimmick is. And, you know, they don't stray from that, which I don't mind because it's working, right? If it's getting you over, why try to switch it up, right? Like if you have a good recipe, keep it the way it is.
We're doing good, Gooch. Still still tanned and sexy. Reed Harris Cooper said CPA can do so much more, and I do hope Brett uses him the way he can be used down the road. I agree. I'm a big fan of CPA opening up some of the things he does, though, so he has more bags of tricks to his.
I agree also, but right now he's still over with what he's doing. Why switch it up, right? Like if it's like exactly.
It ain't broke, don't fix it. Dykehausen, there you are, sir. I was talking about you earlier. I said thank you so much for your donation last week, and I also wanted to let you know that we had a. I'm kind of pointing to it. I put the QR code up there so that if somebody wants to, there you go. If somebody wants to donate, they can do it without a chunk of money being taken by YouTube, because YouTube takes a chunk of that before it even gets to us. And the way things are and money's tight, you don't want big corporations taking much. So it's on you. You can donate that way, or just get a hold of me personally or hit the QR code. Let me know. Rick, or Mr. Dykehausen, you've actually donated a couple times. If I haven't already, get a hold of me or I'll get a hold of you. I want to get, some bracelets sent out to you. My wife just got everything together, and I'll say it now since we're in the second half of the show. Anybody who donates, get a hold of me later, and I'll make sure to get a Game Changer World bracelet out to you. My wife's been making them forever, and we just figured out how to do the mail without raking us across the coals money wise. So, but yeah, so here we go. Chromebook in the house. What do I use? I have a Samsung Galaxy of some sort, or I don't even know what the hell I use. Wait, a Galaxy's a phone. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I use some sort of tablet. I'll show it sometime. There we go. Thank you. Green Cane says, I love the Atticus title run. I love the way he hypes up his matches. Yeah, he invests in his promos. He invests in his gear. And I think that Atticus does put a lot of effort into making each one of his matchups genuine and unique in their own way, so that we don't end up with the same old shit. Oh, here we go. Rick said, nice to talk to Joe in the backyard. No, I know you guys had a chance to bullshit.
Yeah, no, it was definitely nice to talk.
You guys are out there sweating together.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like I think what was Reed that was saying, it was warmer last year than this year, so it could have been even worse for you.
Yeah.
Are you into doing it again next year?
Oh, for sure.
Hang in at Game Changer World. We might be able to get you over there sometime. All right, here. So yeah, CPA pulled it off with a DVD for the win. Anything else on this one, Joe?
No, I think we've talked about as much as we can. It was good match, exceed expectation, but it's still at the root of it had what we expected it would have.
Damn right. All right, moving into our sixth match. Leedz Lewis versus Joey Janela. 14 minutes, 55 seconds. This was Leedz' 33rd career match ever. I was wondering why he looked so good, so I looked into his background. He has a background in gymnastics and soccer. Excuse me. I have hiccups at the worst time here. So yeah, he has a background in gymnastics and soccer. So chances are that gymnastics background is probably giving him the body control that a lot of other wrestlers spend years getting. Commentary reads Joey's Twitter post that talked about Joey retiring if he doesn't start picking up some wins by August 6th. That is his 20th anniversary show. So I smell a storyline cooking, like we said earlier. Has Joey's opponent been announced for that show?
I don't know if any matches have been announced yet.
I don't think so. Chat, have you guys seen any matches announced for that 20th anniversary show?
Megan's been announced and Nick Wayne's been announced and a couple other people. I don't think actual matches have dropped.
Well, in this one here, I just wrote that it was a solid match, and I felt like Leedz got to showcase a lot of his greatest hits in this one because Joey was just a great dancing partner. Our winner here, Leedz Lewis, with a split-legged moonsault. Congratulations, Leedz, for his first win at GCW and going over Joey with less than 50 matches to your name. Good job, man.
Listen, I think if you're going to try to get some people over, now's the time to do it. Put them against Joey because clearly they're built, like you said, building towards storyline. Why not have that storyline also help some young guys out? So props to them. And like you mentioned, the background in gymnastics and soccer, we see that more and more now in terms of wrestlers, especially in WWE and stuff, like coming from that background, having success because they just add the charisma and learn some moves and they're able to put it all together. And it was came through in this match also. But again, shout out to Joey, whether it's a storyline or not, putting over these wrestlers over the last couple of months.
Could you see Christian Napier going after the Jersey title? Because that would make all Vandal members have a single title each.
Not right now, just because it is Mason. But I could see it if the belt was off of Mason.
I love Mason as a champion.
Yeah.
I do. Actually, I love him doing damn near everything he does. Anybody that brings that much personality to the game is an entertainer.
Agreed. He's a fan favorite for a reason.
Moving on here, there was another Slade promo. I wrote that these have become interesting. I believe the story is Slade taking that long walk to the show. There's a genius in an idea like that. He's appearing in several segments throughout the show. So when his stock rises higher, those segments will be huge for building anticipation for a match. No one else is taking Slade's approach, and the execution has been flawless. That's what I want to say about what has been going on with Slade so far. So yeah, imagine having some type of a character where, just like Stone Cold, they're showing you every 30 minutes. So he's walking to here, boom, 30 minutes later, another promo, he's walking to here. Like, that keeps your character fresh in everyone's mind. Like, there's a lot of wrestlers that wish they could come up with something to where they were on the screen every 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, look at what's his name back in the day? Al Snow. He got over with a foam head, right? Like,
yeah,
whatever it takes to get over it. Weird stuff sometimes gets you over, so why not if it's working?
Ohio repping Jersey is the shitty state nightmare. Thank you, Screwball. The Bev and Napier, future GCW tag team champs for GCW. Yeah, Crow likes the Bev, wants to see the Bev back here too. Slade at Bucky's. It is what it is, man. All right, let's go into our 7th match. This was a 6-man tag team match. Charles Mason, Parrow, and Slade versus Anakin Murphy, Gabby, Forza, and Vipress. So I wrote here, Murphy, Forza, and Vipress enter the venue with gnome hats. The Road Warrior fan in me loves Gabby's football spikes. She can legit claim them too because she earned them in football. The old gang is back together, Mason, Parrow, Slade. There's a ton of history between these men. Now, all three have moved up their stock value, which could make their realigning absolutely dangerous. I could see this team versus Vandal 48 at some point in a battle of the minds between Mason and Atticus. Mason got wild heat for throwing his jacket at the ring crew. Parrow's still showing damage on his back from that wild match with Bear the night before. Parrow wasn't a fan of Mason slapping him on the back for a surprise tag. I watched Slade get into the ring with amazing speed that I've never seen him use before, and I'm looking to see how often we maybe see that extra gear. Gabby put on some serious lifting work. She had everyone clutched in her arms at some point or another within the match. Mason did Vipress's dance while keeping her head in a vice, so he's like holding her and doing the dance. Slade's been enjoying the dance this weekend and been doing it himself quite a few times. Anakin was attacked by a masked person, and at the GCW level, I stopped trying to deep dive who it is because half the time it's just a random worker until the reveal is necessary. Sometimes it's just, ring crew number 8. And so, sometimes at GCW, the story is more important than the person during a reveal. The team of Mason, Slade, and Parrow won when Mason hit Gabby in the face with his JCW championship belt and legit split her not her upper lip, right underneath the nose, between the upper lip and the nose there. I think it was 5 stitches. Anyway, though, our winners here, Charles Mason, Parrow, and Slade. What did you think on this one, man?
I love how this match inadvertently is helping further the JCW match with Bear and Mason coming up in 2 weeks, right? Like everyone at this point knows Gabby is Bear's partner, and so this helps further that match, right? And I don't know. I'm really, we talk about it a lot, but I'm just gonna say it again. I'm really enjoying this new personality we're seeing from Slade. Uh, and also, it seems like I know we talk about Vipress a lot, we talk about Gabby a lot, but it seems like GCW is pretty high on Anakin. You know, he's becoming a regular week in, week out now. He's in marquee matches, and I enjoy his work, so I'm excited to see him more. Overall, this was a fun match. Shout out to Gabby for getting that and continuing on, because I think they talked about later on the next match in terms of what she needed. She left the arena and was going to get medical attention, I think they said, and stuff. So shout out to her for being able to continue on in that match.
If he wasn't a TV guy, Bear Bronson going full cocaine bear would be hilarious. Hilarious. Actually, yeah, we would need the wrestler cocaine and Bear Bronson. And we yeah, he just throws it at Bear and Bear rages out. It's GCW. You never know, man. We've seen weirder.
Isn't the cocaine spot more for
Drugs Bunny?
No, what was that? What was the one that did a line on the show randomly? Like everyone was like, why the hell?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
NWA.
Teddy Hart?
No, NWA did it with the the guy who's being ECW who was like the devil.
James. I can't think of his
name. He like
randomly. I know who you're talking about.
He randomly did a line on an NWA show one time. Everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, while TV people were watching it.
A week before they were set to go live on TV.
Yeah. What a great time to go wild, guys. James Mitchell, that's what it is. Thank you, Screwball. Oh my gosh. Okay, so after the match, Mason's surrounding Gabby. Bear's music hits. He enters the ring, and Mason and crew leave to the back. You can see Gabby and Bear talking in the corner, figuring out her situation. Bear later said he had Gabby's injury on his mind while getting through that next match. So we'll get into that. Match number 8, right before our main event here. Bear Bronson versus Richard Holliday, 19 minutes and 40 seconds long. Now, like I said earlier, Bear's already in the ring. We just basically saw another patented GCW move of one match flowing into another. I appreciate storylines bridging like that, and it's different than what we see on TV, where every storyline lives in its own atmosphere. I believe this newer style of presentation has become maybe another strength of the indie experience. Charles Mason jumps on the mic with Brett Lauderdale. Mason's saying on Holliday, "Why is this guy wearing a shirt? I thought he was a body guy." Out comes Richard Holliday. He looks in great shape. There's news he's moving on to bigger things, and we definitely wish him the best. I'm laughing at Scarlett repeatedly asking for the bell to ring, but Amy was sunk into the show, and then eventually it rings, and she's like, she's like, there it is. Mid-match, Slade kicks Brett off the microphone, and we got comedy gold moving forward. Now, 1 year ago, like I said with you, Joe, who would have thought we would have had Slade on the microphone killing it like that? As I said earlier, this reflects Slade's confidence level being very high. Bear said he had Gabby's injury on his mind, and I feel like it kind of sunk into the match a little bit. I felt like he was a little distracted. Now, Brett sat back down and both admit that for some reason, Charles Mason is caressing Brett. I don't know why. But then Mason asks, "Do you know what bestiality is?" This is what we had on the microphone, and that's why everybody was laughing their asses off. Holliday was working the crowd wonderfully, and I hope he's allowed to utilize that further in his career at a higher level. These guys had a good match, but honestly, the commentary was so good that it pulled away from the match a little bit. So our winner here, like I said, in less than 20 minutes, Bear Bronson. And then after that, Richard leaves his boots in the ring, and I felt like it's an honor that he decided to leave him at GCW. So best of luck to him.
Yeah. No, the commentary, the favorite line of the match for me was, we all know that another name for Richard is Dick. And Mason goes, "Look at that dick, it's all sweaty, glistening." And I'm like, what the
fuck
did you just say? And then he was caressing Brett's leg, and Brett goes, "Are you rubbing my leg or something?" And then they had a back and forth there. Just it was a little hard to focus on the match, like you said, with how funny they were on commentary, but I didn't mind it. But this match was solid. And if Holliday is going to WWE or AEW, wherever he's going, shout out to him because he deserves it, right? He deserves it. So
look at this. Holliday wrestled an indie show tonight.
maybe
He
was
must have
taking a
just
step
been
away from GCW.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I thought he was just saying goodbye to the indies.
Yeah, I think maybe he's saying about a GCW.
Yeah.
But he deserves it. I'm curious why it took so long. A great dude who's been through a lot. I believe he beat cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So shout out to him for being able to overcome that, come back to the indies, put in the work, and now make it to the WWE.
All right, then that leads us into our main event, Joe. Here we go. The GCW World Championship match. Atticus Cogar versus Donovan Dijak. 16 minutes and 11 seconds long. Donovan came out with his kids so they could watch him wrestle in their hometown for the first time. I love a good story like that. Atticus came out with jigsaw-inspired gear. No shit, Donovan is much larger than our world champion. You could definitely see that here. Solid TV style match is what they performed. I was surprised by some of the agility that Dijak showed. I could see him doing something more at GCW if he's built right and what's needed. Atticus brought Dijak's kids to the ring against their will, and out comes the rest of the Vandals. Atticus goes to skewer the little girl, and Atticus gets them pushed into his head instead. Now, moving forward, our winner and still the GCW World Champion, Atticus Cogar, with a brain hemorrhage. What did you think here, man?
See, now this is going to be like, I'm going to contradict myself here. I know I said I don't like the run-ins a lot, but I feel like in this type of match, you need the run-ins because clearly, like you said, the size difference and stuff, right? Like, it's going to be very hard, even though Atticus is the world champion, to make it believable that Atticus clean is beating Dijak, right? So this is a situation where you do whatever it takes to keep your belt. And it meant getting his kids involved or whatever. I know it rubs some people the wrong way, but it just proves that Atticus is a crazy son of a bitch who is hell-bent on keeping that title by any means necessary. Oh, you're muted.
I caught myself that time, damn it. Okay, I get what a lot of people say about not involving kids, but don't forget it's a show. And what if those kids each got $10 to go do a play? So again, don't forget, I mean, dad is in that ring. He had to be, okay with a very small young girl and boy being out there. So if anything, he probably said, "Hey kids, do you want to be part of the show? Here's what you need to do." And they were like, "Oh, heck yeah, dad. Let's,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Went to camp the next day and on Monday and showed all their friends, like, "Hey, I was in a wrestling match," right? Like,
yeah. And so I get what's being said, but at the same time, don't forget that, most of these wrestlers behind the scenes are kind of all part of, a brotherhood. And the last thing they want to do is put their little daughter in a situation where she may get injured at all,
Yeah.
It's a little kid,
Yeah.
Let's see what other messages we have here. Reed said, "You people are all being kayfabed." I love it. Yeah, I think as long as everybody's okay with it. However, at the same point, I get where they're saying let's not get kids involved in certain things. Yeah, I'll probably leave it up to the promoter and the parents, but I could see where some people may be protective of certain situations. Maybe something scared them, or something may scare them that could, give them nightmares down the road or whatnot. But yeah, I really do think that, they said, "Hey kids, you want to be part of it? Sounds good. You want to be out there with dad?" That's what I'm thinking. You want to be with dad in the ring? I don't know though. I didn't talk to dad. So let's see here. Anything else in regards to Melee in Manchester that you wanted to discuss?
No, I think it was a solid card for a Sunday night show. Overall, it was fun, but yeah, definitely Saturday was more bang for your buck.
Well, I actually agree with you. I think that Saturday show was both were great shows. It's just if you had to pick one, that Saturday show was electric, and it was so long, in a good way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And again, I don't feel like there was many like a standout match. There was a lot of great matches, and like I said, when I asked fans, "Hey, you know, what was the match of the week?" and it was every match under the sun was announced. There just wasn't a majority, response.
Yeah, no, I agree with that though.
Well, then let's do this real quick. Our upcoming shows. Saturday, July 18th, GCW's Life of a Boss from Gillies in Dallas, Texas. Cappuccino Jones versus Leedz Lewis. Joey Janela versus Brick Savage. The Cowboy Way versus Savage Gnomes. For the GCW Ultraviolent Championship, Otis Cogar versus Nino Extremo. Holy mackerel. All right. For the GCW Tag Team Championship, Bustin' the Brain versus KJ and Stackhouse. And for the GCW World Championship, Atticus Cogar versus Emerson Jane. So that's again on Saturday, July 18th. Sunday, July 19th, GCW's The Tussle in Tulsa from the Property Event Center in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. On this match, we have an appearance by Bustah the Brain. I think that may eventually go into a KJ Orso match. No, because Orso versus Stackhouse is against the Trendsetters. My bad. Marcus Mathers versus Cappuccino Jones in this one here. Brick Savage versus Bear Bronson. Vandal 48 versus Cowboy Way, and Joey Janela versus Wrangler Rhett was just announced. And I think that someone said that there was another announcement that came up, but
I think it was
busy. Who was that? Gabby,
right? And
does anybody remember who that was?
Get who it was. Was it Christian?
Oh, Napier and Gabby. Could have been.
I think so.
There we go. Screwball knows. Thank you, Screwball. Thank you. All right. So, if you can, guys, you've been hitting like and you've been giving messages. If you can, please continue to do that. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Thanks for those who've donated. All of these metrics are things that, GCW looks at to see if we're doing our thing. So we're thankful that you do what you do. You can find me at GC World Podcast. Joe, where can they find you? What you doing this week, man?
Woods Wrestling 3 on X, turnbuckletimes.com, and Steel Steps Podcast under the AAT Sports platform.
And do you have any last messages before we head out for the night?
I think we're going to come back on Tuesday with new champions.
Ooh, so that's the prediction, huh?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to cut that video and we're going to talk about it next week.
Sounds good.
All right, man. For everyone that came in tonight, thank you so much. If you haven't been told this week, you guys all matter. You're important. There was a very good listener that you guys see in here all the time who lost a family member this week. They're very important to them. We want to give them all the love and prayers that we can for them, and hope that they have healing during this time. Yeah, that's it, man. So let's roll it out here. As always, thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us tonight. We will be seeing you next week to review Life of a Boss and The Tussle in Tulsa. You ready to do this, Joe?
Let's do it.
Long
live
GCW.
W.
All right, guys, have a great night and we'll see you next time.